By the way, you're going to notice on the slide, I spelled values without the U. That's what happens if you're rushing. So Menti.com, the code is 7369606. Seven three six nine 606. And what are you focusing on in your essay? Um, 7369606. I'll just put it in the chat. I always love when the words pop up. I see a lot of individualism. Individualism, individuality. It is the first value that Alton talks about. And he says, you have to understand that about Americans if you want to understand anything else, because all the other values are kind of based on that, according to Alton. There might be a few more of you. I have 21 of you that have already posted, and I think there might be a few more. Achievement, time, assertiveness, representation. That's a different one. I like that. And I like that somebody has included family. I like that materialism is in there. That's definitely something that we see a lot in America. Anybody, you can just unmute yourself. What is the value you chose and what prompted you to choose that one?
Okay, so I have a question more than an answer to that. Are we only supposed to choose one value? I've kind of focused on a couple, but it's okay, it's the first draft, so I'm sure, and I'm meeting today with the writing person.
Honestly, Faith, we talked a lot in class about how Koenig affirmed values like community. He affirmed values of competition, and he subverted the value of progress. And so right there, we see at least 3 values. And so I think that it's impossible to write an essay that doesn't touch on multiple values. And so, yeah, you're fine, Faith.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. I probably should, if I'd spelled values correctly, you would have said, oh yeah, she's saying that there could be more than one. Somebody else, what value are you focusing on? Value or values are you focusing on? And how did you choose those values?
Okay, well, going back to me, since I feel like talking today, I guess. I kind of just started how I brainstorm is I kind of just like spill everything out there that I want to be said, and then I like go back and try to connect it to the prompt. So I didn't really choose my values per se. Like I just wrote about my life and picked out which ones were represented.
That's good. Van, did you have something you wanted to share?
No, that was an accident. I'm sorry.
That is okay. How about Eric?
Did you say me?
I did.
Okay. So I am kind of going with faith. Like I haven't really picked any values. I'm just talking and I'm just like writing, and then I will ascribe values that I see in it. I don't know. That's not really what Faith said, but like, so right now what I'm seeing is it's probably a lot. There is elements of individualism, but I think, but I can't. I'm having a hard time ascribing particular words to it, like specific words. Um, so I was thinking maybe that probably wasn't the best strategy, but right now what comes to mind is probably like challenge.
And which is very, very connected to individualism and competition and progress. One thing that yeah, definitely. So those values are there. Um, as you move forward, and I'm going to stop the share right now. As you move forward with this project, remember that it's very important that you have an inquiry question that you are answering so that you can have an answer that becomes your main point. And if you don't have a main point, this is going to be a tough essay to write because it's your story, but the story isn't about you. It is about reaching out to other people and challenging them to look at their own values more closely or to consider that question that we've been asking, what does it mean to be an American? And so Koenig, I don't think what does it mean to be an American was his starting question for his essay. But you can see him answering that question, and you can see him saying, how do we become a country that takes care of the land, that protects people? And so he subverts the value of progress while affirming the value of community. And I think that in answering that question, he uses the values. And we also see the answer, you know, like, what is it? What does it mean to be an American? It means to help other people. It means to care for the land. It means to take care of each other and remember where you came from, even if it means that progress in some aspects gets stalled. So think about that as you're moving forward. So I'm going to share the screen again, and you should be seeing the PowerPoint. If you don't, somebody please unmute yourself and let me know that you are, what you're seeing. I want to come back to this idea that we started the semester with, it was in the syllabus. We talked about it on the first day of class and the second day of class. It's this opportunity that we have to raise our voices, to speak up. And we talked about in the first reflection direction question, reasons why we might not speak up. Things that Kathy Kang talked about, you know, like you think that you don't have something to say, you feel like you're too young to say something, that people won't listen to you, that you're not respected, that you don't have the right stories to speak up. And she says, I want you to know that you have a voice and the world needs to hear, see, and experience it. And I want to emphasize that. I want to echo what Kathy Kang says. You have unique experiences. They might not be as dramatic as going to Standing Rock to protest. You may not feel like your identity is as exciting as being a basketball player with a platform that people, you know, like actually know your name outside of your immediate community. But that's okay. You have experiences, you have stories, you have observations, and those are important. And they're important in answering this question because most of us are not famous. And so I want you to know that who you are matters in the context that we are right now. Now less exciting stuff. I want to remind you, we follow the same schedule every single week. Homework due on Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday. Wednesday is always an assignment. Thursday is the discussion board, sometimes another assignment. Saturday is a wrap up, the reflection direction question, and whatever else is not done is due on Saturday. This is the 4th week, and so you've had time to learn this schedule. We show up here on Monday, we show up on Wednesday, unless we've got some project that occupies us otherwise, and then we have homework due the rest of the week. You can always work ahead. If you have an emergency situation that is going to keep you from getting your work done on the due dates, let me know in advance. Sometimes there are emergencies that come up at the last minute. Let me know the minute you can. And there's some flexibility built in with that. But if it's just, I forgot, or my internet went down at 11:55, I'm going to say you needed to get your work done sooner. It's important to remember. And so the 0 that you get on Sunday is not a reminder to do the work that was due on Saturday. That being said, I took everything that came in on Sunday that got a 0 on it, and you now have a point. 5 points, really. Also, use paragraphs. That's part of my grading rubric because I believe so strongly that you need to get in the habit of that. And sometimes students won't do that until they're in the habit, until their grade depends on it, and pay attention to word minimums. Very rarely will I have a word maximum. The minimums are guidelines because it takes words to develop ideas, to guide readers, to have details, to provide examples. And I'm giving you minimums. And so pay close attention to those. When I've got screen share on, I can't see the chat. So if you've got a question, just unmute yourself and ask.
I just answered a student's question.
Awesome. Thanks for watching that, Alyssa.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the schedule coming up. By the way, great job making appointments with Alyssa. She is almost booked. If you want to meet with her, make sure that you go to the link that she provided. It's on our homepage, and it's in the announcement, and we'll send out periodic announcements so that you can do that. She's almost booked. Message her to see if she might have other availability. She does have a maximum number of hours, and I know some of you have made appointments with the Writing Center. So great job. As much support and feedback as you can get helps you have a good paper. I want to talk about the schedule coming up.
Erin, can I add
Yeah.
So there are a couple of students that have made appointments today and a couple for tomorrow. And like Erin said, I've looked at the document. I'll send it again in the chat just so you guys have it. It's also up on our Canvas page. But some of you haven't put down the link to your document or the meeting code for a Zoom meeting for us. So make sure to do that. Otherwise, I won't be able to meet with you. But yeah, make sure to do that before your time.
Thank you. Important, relevant information. So today we're meeting. On Wednesday, we do not have class. I'm assuming that you'll be writing your paper still. And I don't want anybody to miss class and have us talk about something important because you need to work on your paper. So you're going to submit your draft on Wednesday night at 11:59, and you're going to post a Google Doc link to the discussion board along with some information about your paper. Only the people in your group will be able to see your document. That is our discussion board prompt for this week, is all your feedback will be done on the Google Doc link and in the discussion board chat. So you're going to be responding to people. The responses, the feedback to the people in your group is due on Saturday, along with the reflection direction question. Questions about that schedule? Next week, we won't meet on Monday. I'll send you lots of reminders to keep you on track. You do need to meet, I'm going to say in person, but it's in virtual person. Like, yeah, you're going to meet virtually with your group to discuss the papers, and then there's going to be a reflection. And so we're not having class on Monday because I want to give you time to meet as a group. We're going to meet synchronously on Wednesday, and you'll be discussing a text called Teaching the Conventions of Academic Writing, and you're going to write a reading response, a reading journal, and there will be a link on Canvas with some guiding questions. The next draft, the second draft of your essay, will be due on Thursday. And again, you're going to post it in the discussion board, and you're going to add any images you think might be relevant. Remember, all of this is going in a book, and you should have pictures that expand understanding of the text. And then, of course, your feedback to others is due on Saturday, along with your reflection direction question. So once again, the discussion board is the peer review. Okay, questions about any of that?
I just had a quick question. If we meet with Alyssa for the first, like this meeting that she's having, like these first couple of days, does that count as one of the 2 meetings that we need to go to during like the writing process to like not lose points?
Yeah, in fact, Alyssa should be your first choice. And let me show you what you're doing here, getting feedback. Okay, so this is some information about how you can get feedback. A lot of you registered for the Writing Center and got extra credit. And here is this reflection on your writing feedback. And it's due by the end of the month because you are required to meet with Alyssa or go to the Writing Center twice in the month of September. Probably on this project, but yeah, twice in the month of September. In October, November, December, you can get the 5 points by going, but that's extra credit. So you'll just answer a few questions after you've met with Alyssa or gone to the Writing Center. And it'll be just about, you know, like how you felt seeking feedback, what kind of feedback, what did you ask for, and when did you go? What did you work on in your meeting? Just a description of your session, and what did you learn about writing? So, questions about that?
Is there going to be other chances to meet with Alyssa besides the first draft?
You can meet with her, you should meet with her twice, and you can meet with her to brainstorm, to get feedback on the first draft, the second draft, or even after that. Javi, can you mute yourself unless you have a question? Yeah, there was just a lot of background noise going on. But yeah, even if you go, yeah, I just really want to work on my introduction, that's fine. Anything that you need to get feedback on, but twice in the month of September.
I have a quick, sorry.
Sorry, can I just address that question real quick?
Yeah.
too?
Yeah, of course.
So right now on that document, I do just have until like the next 2 days, but I'll be updating that basically every week. So I'll have more availability next week and the following as well. And you can always message me on Canvas or through email.
So,
Javi,
sorry,
Javi,
just
said
quickly,
it.
oh,
Oh, go ahead, Sienna.
sorry, I'm so sorry. I was just gonna say, I'm trying to click on the link or I was trying to earlier to make an appointment with Alyssa, and it seems to be not working. I don't know if this is just my link or everyone else's, but
Well, let me click on it here and see if it goes.
yeah, that's what happens to me.
All right. I'll double check on that, Sienna. Thank you very much for that information.
Okay, no worries. Thank you.
Yeah. Here's the other thing, and there will be an appointment, a link for appointment with Erin. I put that there and I forgot to add it, and it was time for class to start. Let me show you the discussion board. And here's week 4, and the starting point, everything we're doing. Here's that list of activities. Here's a link to our slide deck, and the video will be posted sometime later, probably this evening, because I go straight into the Writing Center. But here is the discussion board. And I want to show this to you because along with a Google Doc link for your essay, be sure to make it available to share and edit. And if you just do share, edit with anyone who has the link, that might be easiest, because I will need to access that document as well. And so that's part of your initial post. But the other part of your initial post that's worth 10 points and should be somewhere between 250, 350 words is you're going to write a letter to your readers, the people in your group, when you address the following questions. And tell them what values you're focused on, what you want, like what your purpose is, how you want your audience to respond. Remember, you're all writing to first-year Aztec students, but you all are not homogeneous. You have some commonalities, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. But you might be focused on a specific type of Aztec student who has a specific identity. And so let your reading group know. Be sure to put your main point and why it matters to this particular audience. You should have a main point, because this isn't just your story, it's your story that's illustrating a main point that prompts your audience to think something new, revisit their own values, consider how somebody else's perspective might be different from them, sort of to rethink their own worldview. And then describe your process of working on the essay so far. And then what parts of your essay you're most concerned about at this point. What kind of feedback do you want on this? And that will guide your audience. The next task, which is the response. So all of that is due on Wednesday, but the next task is to read your group's essays. Peer review can be challenging because you don't want to insult the people you're responding to, but you also want to give them meaningful feedback. The goal of these peer reading groups is, there's 2 goals. One is you get to know some other people who are in this class and to get to feel more comfortable with them. But the other reason is that you're here to support each other and to help each other be the best writers that you can possibly be. And so if you just go, whoa, that was awesome, and it might be awesome, but if you don't say, this part was awesome, but I might have liked a little more information on that. E. Shelley Reid talks about cookies, she talks about not assuming that your audience is made up of mind readers, and that if you have cookies, those are the good bits of like the writing and the development, the details, the description of your identity, all of those good things. She says, you have cookies and you don't put them in the paper, metaphorically speaking. A peer reader should ask for the cookies. You have to, she says, you have to Learn to be greedy as a reader, to ask for the good stuff from someone else's head if they don't give it to you, to demand that they share their cookies, and be brave and say, I don't know what you mean. And so there are ways to do that. How do you do that? First of all, don't edit the paper. That is not your job. Let the letter guide you. Do you see the main point? If you don't, let them know. Can you see them appealing to the audience that they're imagining? Comment on the paper when they're doing that well, and address the concerns they raise in the letter. Comment when you can see exactly what they mean, and comment when you can't. Compliment them and demand to see the cookies. Think about E. Shelley Reid's suggestions. One focus should be on the opening. What strategy are they using? Name it. What's working well? What can the author do to make it better? And that might be taking some stuff out. It might be adding stuff. You can make suggestions. You don't have to demand that they do things. Ultimately, it's the author's choice to take your suggestions or not. So you can ask questions, make suggestions. You're going to give two kinds of responses. First, you should comment directly on the essay. Feel free to agree with other reviewers. In fact, I'm going to follow you and take a look at what other people have written. Sometimes I'll echo what other people have said. Sometimes I'm going to add new things. The other thing is, make sure that you write at least one full paragraph in which you summarize your comments, and this will go in the discussion board itself. Start with what you like or what you find interesting, and then add one or two things that you think would help the author further develop the main point. Any questions about this discussion board post? I know it's super detailed, and yet it's not specific. So questions about this? Okay. A brand new share, back to the schedule. When you're writing and when you're reading, make sure that you're writing about what you know about, you care about, you're passionate about. And by the way, it's okay to, write about, just ignore that sub-bullet. That was from my other class, which they're doing the same things, but they're doing them on a different topic. So show, don't just tell. Showing doesn't mean just giving lots of adjectives. Sometimes it's verbs and descriptions of what people are doing and saying. It's giving examples, evidence, with analysis that tells people your readers what to do with them. And watch for places when you're doing the reading that people are showing or not showing. And adapt to your audience and purpose. And with that, I do want to send you into your groups. I want you to think about who your audience is. Obviously, you are writing to first-year Aztec students. But who are you? What do you know about the demographics of your audience? What are they experiencing right now? What frustrations, fears, concerns do they share? What beliefs do they hold? What worldviews, what narratives do they believe? What values do they share? Now, obviously, some will be unique because of different identities or backgrounds or experiences. But this is what you're going to brainstorm. Now, you'll notice that there is a slide on here. There is a slide for each group. And I am going to post, I'm going to post the link for the Google slide deck that allows editing. I'm going to put it right here. And you'll be able to brainstorm and fill in your slides, okay? Questions about what you're doing? All right, I'm going to send you to your breakout rooms. And those of you who came in after I'll be adding you if you get left out of a breakout room. I can add you directly to the group that you're supposed to be in. Okay, there you go. Okay, Chris, you are in group 2. Javi, you are in group 4. Rebecca, you are in group 3. And Sienna, you're in group 1.
Thank you.
All right.
Hello. Right now I'm gonna go through and I'm making more office hours for the next couple of weeks.
Okay. It's kind of cool that we can see as they're working on the slides. And how are you doing, Alyssa?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Pretty good. I feel like I'm super behind, and so I'm doing things at the last minute. What I'm gonna hopefully early this evening, I'll be able to send you the group list, and you can assign them to their groups when they come in, so I don't have to use time.
Yeah,
You look really tired,
I am a little tired today. Yeah.
but you're feeling good otherwise.
Yeah. Just before this, I was just at the writing center all day, but had good appointments.
Yeah, you had
Some of them some of them canceled though, so wasn't as busy as normal. But yeah.
okay. Javi just asked for help. I'll join his breakout room, and you can add those links.
Yay.
Hi, Javi. You asked for
Hi.
help.
Yes, we were just wondering. So, are we brainstorming like what we're gonna do for our essays, our values, or our audience?
Your audience, because you're writing
Okay.
for an audience, and so you want to come up with, like what beliefs, what concerns, what values do they hold, and you might even say, like if they come from a family that doesn't have a lot of money, they might have these values, because there's differentiations. We all have different experiences, and so we all privilege different values, and so I think that is fine, but that's what you're doing in this.
Okay, perfect.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay. And now I have to figure out how to exit.